Alright, so last week I went in amazing 6-10 with my predictions, but to be fair, it was week 1 and it's pretty hard to predict games, and we did have some upsets like, you know, Jacksonville over Indianapolis, Washington football team over the Eagles. So I mean, can you really blame me? But yeah, hopefully this week goes a lot better. And yeah, let's just get into these predictions. Let's start off with the Thursday night football game, Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cincinnati looked pretty meh against a pretty meh Chargers team. The Browns looked like the Browns versus the Baltimore Ravens. But I think Cleveland gets it done here. I think they bounce back from that terrible performance against the Ravens, and they beat up on the Cincinnati Bengals. Next game, Atlanta at Dallas. I mean, Atlanta got completely shredded apart by Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson ain't mad. Actually, we'll actually get into that in another video. But Atlanta, I don't think they have the defense to stop the Cowboys' offense. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys here. And even though Leighton Vander Esch is out for a good while, I still like the Cowboys' defense slightly better than Atlanta's defense, and the Cowboys are indeed at home, so there's also that. Next game, Detroit at Green Bay. Detroit, they blew a lead versus the Bears. I don't know how they did that, but they did. I feel bad for Matthew Stafford. Green Bay looked very dangerous last week against the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, Rodgers looked like vintage Rodgers. Like, this is that game he had against Minnesota is probably the best Aaron Rodgers has looked like in the past 2, maybe 3 years. So, when Rodgers is playing like vintage Rodgers, man, you cannot bet against Aaron Rodgers. So I am going with Aaron Rodgers and his Green Bay Packers. Next game, Minnesota at Indianapolis. Minnesota's secondary is very suspect, but Phillip Rivers isn't a good quarterback. They don't have many good weapons like that. Receivers, they lost Marlon Mack. Even though I absolutely love Jonathan Taylor, I think the Colts aren't going to use him as much as they should. And I see Minnesota completely bullying the Colts and finding a way to win this game with the legs of Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins doing just enough through the air. But I mean, if we're being honest, Indy doesn't have a good secondary either. So yeah, I feel like Minnesota's a better rounded team. Buffalo at Miami. I mean, I'm going with Buffalo here. That defense is going to make Ryan Fitzpatrick have a terrible game. So yeah, I am definitely going with Buffalo. Okay, next game, San Francisco at New York Jets. I am going with San Francisco. I really just don't think the Jets stand much of a chance. They have a terrible head coach. Sam Darnold isn't playing well. Le'Veon Bell went on IR. Their defense isn't good. San Francisco's looking to rebound after that loss against Arizona. So yeah, I am definitely going San Francisco here. Next game, Rams at Eagles. I'm going to go with the Rams here, man. The Eagles, they somehow found a way to lose to the Washington football team. And the Washington football team, they don't exactly have that good of an offense. And the Rams, their offense actually looked similar to the 2018-2017 Rams offense as opposed to last year's offense. And their defense is pretty decent. I mean, Jalen Ramsey's going to put the clamps on them, and Aaron Donald should feast on that weak Eagles offensive line. Next game, Denver at Pittsburgh. I mean, If Drew Lock couldn't get it done against the Tennessee Titans defense, there is no way he gets it done against the Pittsburgh defense. I am taking the Pittsburgh Steelers here in a pretty easy game, and there's no Von Miller, there's no maybe no Cortland Sutton for this game. I don't know what his status is, so yeah, I'm going Pittsburgh in this one. And plus, I mean, Ben, even though he's old, he's way better than Ryan Tannehill, and they have more weapons than the Titans, so I feel like the Broncos will definitely struggle in this game. Next game, Carolina at Tampa Bay. I am going to take Carolina in this one, man. I think the Buccaneers are still a few weeks away from getting it all together. If you recall, back in, what was it, 2012, when Peyton Manning first went to the Denver Broncos, new quarterback, new system, new everything. So it took the Broncos quite a while to start stringing some wins together. I feel like it's going to be the same thing with Tampa. I feel like Carolina, they had a good shot at winning against the Raiders this past weekend, but, they kind of blew it there at the end. I don't know why they would run the ball with their fullback instead of their talented running back Christian McCaffrey, but yeah, they ended up losing that game. It was a very close game, a very fun game. I think Carolina finds a way to beat Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next game, Jacksonville at Tennessee. I am taking Tennessee in this one, man. Yeah, Jacksonville stunned the Colts last week, and Tennessee barely survived the Broncos, but I feel like Tennessee's just an all-around better team. I still feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars are a tanking team. I feel like they're a bottom-tier team, even though they beat Indy. So, yeah, I feel like Tennessee's just an all-around better team. Next game, New York Giants at Chicago. I feel like that Chicago Bears defense is going to feast on the Giants, and Daniel Jones is going to throw a bunch of picks. So, yeah. Next game, Washington at Arizona. Okay, now this one's a pretty interesting one, man. Like, I think the Cardinals are the better team, but I do feel like Washington could possibly knock them off because they can definitely take advantage of that very weak Arizona offensive line. But I am still going to go with Arizona in this one just because I feel like they're like a more talented team. But do not be shocked if the Washington football team beats the Cardinals, because that defensive line, that defensive front can make life like very difficult for Kyler Murray. Next game, Baltimore at Houston. If you watched my prediction video, I took Baltimore in this one. I mean, if you want more in-depth analysis on why, go watch that video. Next game, Kansas City at LA Chargers. I am taking KC in this one. That's pretty easy. I mean, they're just an all-around better team. Next game, New England at Seattle. That's my game of the week, so you're going to have to wait till Friday for that one. And then the last game, New Orleans at Vegas. I am taking New Orleans. However, I do think that Vegas can keep up with them score-wise, so for my little tiebreaker here, little total score, I'm gonna go with a good 64 points. So yeah, that's what we're going with. But yeah, those are my predictions for the week. Like I said at the start of the video, hopefully this week I do way better. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Comment down below your own predictions for the week. And yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.